What if you've been standing in the wrong spot on your paddleboard this entire time? By not positioning your body in the right spot, you'll actually find it hard to paddle and balance on your paddleboard. But there are a few factors to consider when to stand where and why. So let's not waste any time and let's get started. On calm, flat water days, you want to make sure you position your feet shoulder width apart on either side of that center carry handle on your paddleboard, as that handle acts as a guide to the center most stable part of your paddleboard. For most paddleboards, this area of your board is actually the widest part of your entire board. That's why it's so important to stand in this area, because that widest part will provide you with the most stability side to side. Too far forward or too far backward, you're actually standing on the more narrow part of your paddleboard, making it less stable to stand on. Another reason why it's so important to make sure you're standing on the center part of your paddleboard, especially in these calm flat water days, is that it ensures you're making use of the entire length of your paddleboard. This will provide you with better glide and better speed as you paddle along. If you're standing too far forward or too far backward, part of your board is lifting out of the water, so you're not making use of your entire length of your paddleboard, causing you to paddle slower and having to paddle harder. On windy days, you actually want to reposition your feet. For paddling downwind, you want to stand a little bit further back on your paddleboard behind that handle. This will help keep the nose of your paddleboard from digging into the water in front of you as the wind pushes you from behind. The stronger the wind is behind you, the further back you're going to have to stand, allowing you to keep that nose out of the water. A good rule of thumb as you're paddling downwind is to keep the nose of your board in that pocket in front of you, which is basically in between the swell right in front of your board, where you're not hitting the wave in front of you and you still have plenty of space on the wave you're currently on for the nose of your board to be out of the water. You'll also notice that I switched to a staggered stance in this position. This allows me to have more stability forward and backward as well as I go through the choppier conditions. When paddling upwind, once again you will need to move your feet a little bit to position the nose of your board in the best spot. You want a good balance where the nose of your paddleboard is not too low where it's just bearing into each wave or each chop as you paddle upwind, but also not too high, causing more drag in the wind either. So as you paddle upwind, play around with your feet a little bit in that center part of your paddleboard or even a little further back to find that right balance of your nose, cutting through the chop, but also not too high up, catching all the wind either. Because of some of these different factors for paddling upwind or downwind, you simply need to go out and try and practice yourself, reposition your feet a little bit here and there to find the best spot for yourself on your paddleboard to where you feel like getting the most amount of speed and best amount of glide on your paddleboard for those different conditions. Lastly, if you're paddling through any kind of surf, once again, it's very important to make sure you switch to a staggered stance position. The larger the wave you're trying to paddle through, the farther back you need to stand on your paddleboard to ensure the nose of your board is clearing that wave, allowing you to hop over that wave with ease. For a full video tutorial on how to paddle out through waves, be sure to check out my most recent video where I talk about just that. If you have any other tips or best practices on where to stand on your paddleboard, be sure to let me know what they are in the comments down below. I'll catch you guys next video. Hasta luego, amigos.